right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to CertaPay's Coffee Break number 19 and another great topic. We are so glad to have you with us. We also have a lot of people from CertaPay's HR team on this morning, so welcome to everyone. I am your host, Rachel Camella, and I'm here with our moderator, Cindy Merkel from our HR team, and we are pleased to bring you COVID-19 scams and fraud. And I want to just kind of start by saying this is scams and fraud connected to your employees and from an HR point of view. We're not really talking about some detailed banking scams, which we are seeing out there. So kind of use this information in conjunction with some of your other experts that you would use for some of your other protections that you have, IT and accounting and banking and whatnot. So using this information as just another layer of information and things to watch out for. So some of the things that we want to just bring to your attention, a lot of this stuff you already know, and I want to really stress the fraudsters, the scammers, they're out there and they've been out there. COVID didn't bring them out. What COVID did is create chaos, so it made it easier. So that's what we want to really kind of bring to your attention is just the chaos that we've got in the world right now has made it easier and has created a little bit of opportunity for our scammers. So that's what we want you to pay attention to right now. And what they want is money or information. So protect your confidential information, protect your data, and as always, protect your finances for your business. So some of the things you want to pay attention to. Keep your guard up. There's no reason to let your guard down. Now is the chance where they're going to take advantage of that. So keep your guard up right now. Don't be afraid to double check. If something doesn't make sense or doesn't seem right, put the brakes on and double check that. You know, go through your avenues that you're familiar with and verify the information, verify what's happening. Take some time to double check. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And one of the main themes that you have probably caught on to through all of our coffee breaks is training. Training your employees, training your staff, training your managers. These are your biggest safeguards against a lot of these issues. And no surprise here, when you have fraud and scams and these kinds of things, if you take some time to train your staff and train your employees about what your procedures are, it can go a long way to protect you. So training is very important. So I've got a few of these scams that we've done a little bit of research and gathered kind of the things that are a little bit more prominent right now. So the public health scam. This is one I even was talking to one of my neighbors this morning, and he was in a little bit of a scam with this himself. But the public health scam, the way this works is your fraudsters are going to pose as somebody from the CDC or the World Health Organization or some public health official. And what they want is information. So they're going to ask for your social security or your tax ID. You may get an email that says, click this link or download this document, or something that says, call this number. We've got a very specific health situation that's connected to your business. We need you to call this number to verify, you know, such and such and such. And they're going to be gathering information. And they may even ask you with some of these click the links, they're going to be installing malware on your network. It's data that they want. So be very careful about this. Cindy and I were talking about a client this morning who received a letter, received some information where they were asking for birth dates. And, you know, be very careful about passing on information. You're obligated to protect your employees' information. So just because you get a letter that says, we need the birth dates, we need the socials, we need whatever, be cautious about giving that out. And I will say, there are real ones out there. It is possible that the CDC or the public health officials may need some information. But like I said, don't let your guard down. Take a minute to verify whether or not it's true. Call us. Let us help you verify whether or not it's true. Don't just automatically pass out confidential information. Anything to add there, Cindy?
No, just to reiterate what you said, it is legal for them to, for example, if the health department found out that I was sick, or that they verified that I had COVID-19 and I worked in a restaurant, they would have a legal obligation and can come to you and say, hey, I need a list of all your other employees, their phone numbers. They won't necessarily ask for a social security number, but they will ask for the name, date of birth, and a telephone number, so they can call that individual and let that individual know that you have been exposed. It's a twofold. One, you need to be careful to verify that they are who they are, but two, it does alleviate you from having to tell the rest of the staff that they've been exposed. They might take it a little bit more seriously. But again, like Rachel said, it's imperative that you verify. I actually called Tallahassee to make sure before we gave any direction one way or the other. So just do your due diligence.
Exactly, and that's why this is such an easy scam for them, because there are real ones happening. And that's why they said, okay, we know we can jump in on this because there are real ones. So they won't know if we make it look real enough, they won't know it's fake, and we can get a whole bunch of data. So just be cautious about that one. So the next one is the government check scam. This one we really started to see, there's two kind of things that happen here, and we started to see this with the beginning of the PPP loans. So as soon as the loan programs passed through the House and the Senate, we started to see these really pop up, where people were actually reaching out to you and saying, you're eligible for the special government loan, and here's how it looks. And then they say, let's walk through the application, and you're going to give them all kinds of company information, potentially even banking account numbers. So the scam of you're eligible, let's do your application together, is them gathering the information from you, huge amounts of data that are extremely protected, confidential information. And then the other thing that happens is they say, you were eligible for this loan, it's this amount, and then they send you a check, and the technology to create extremely real looking cashier's checks, of course, is there. And they can make these checks look perfect, so much so that your bank will cash it. So you've got this loan, the bank account, your bank cashes it, and you've got a window of time before the bank realizes it's a fraudulent check. And then perhaps the scammer will call you and say, we gave you too much. We sent you $50,000 and your loan amount was only supposed to be for $40,000. You can see the check's cleared. We need you to wire us the difference. So then you wire 10 grand back to them, to whatever account information they give you. And then a couple of days later, the bank realizes it's a fraudulent check. So the bank is going to take back the 50, you've sent 10 to the fraudster, and you're out a lot of money. So be very careful about this. With the loans that have been approved through the government, they are not going to call you. They are not going to reach out to you. You have to do all the work. You have to go get it. You have to go apply. You have to go to the legitimate sites. You have to do it. No one's going to call you to give you a bunch of money. So if that happens, put your guard up right away. It may not be real. There's a good chance it won't be real. So be very, very careful about somebody calling you to give you money. It's not going to happen. All right, on to the CEO scam. The CEO scam is about getting money. So what happens is the scammers are posing as the CEO or somebody high up in the company, and they're going to say, we need you to transfer these funds quickly, or wire money, or even go get gift cards and send us the gift card codes on the back. We need you to do this right away. I can't get to my computer, and it's going to look legit. And maybe even your boss is on vacation, and so it's even more legit. And so the scammers are pretty smart. They are going to hack into your CEO's information, maybe even on his social media, where he's posted on Facebook, I'll be on vacation, or pictures with his family at the beach or something. So your scammers have a lot of information to trick you with. And, in this time where we've got a flurry of unusual financial transactions, expedited orders, canceled deals, refunds, etc. It's a little bit crazy right now. So these kinds of red flags might not be such a big deal. Usually you would hear this stuff and think, oh, no way, that's not real. But now, maybe it's a little bit crazier than usual. And, as a result of our economic upheaval. And so you might not react the way you would normally. And so when you've got remote workers and people who are working remotely who don't typically, that's a really good target for this one. So what do? You've got to have a procedure in place. You have to warn your employees and train them. Make sure they're aware that this could be a scam that happens. And if somebody is asking a person who wouldn't normally have anything to do with that to transfer money, that's going to be a big red flag. Or, all of a sudden your boss is asking you to wire money somewhere where that normally wouldn't be the procedure. That's a red flag. And you've got to make sure your employees are aware of that. So the next one is similar to the CEO scam, but it's the IT scam. So in our CEO scam, they're going for money. In the IT scam, they're going for data. And so same concept where it's going to be somebody in the IT department and they're going to have their info and do kind of the similar format and claim, they're with the IT department and they need your passwords or they need you to download such and such software onto your computer. And, maybe something like, oh, I spoke with Fred in IT. He told me that you're having computer issues, or something like, we're switching to a new telecommunication platform or a new teleconferencing platform. Instead of using Zoom, we're going to use this new platform. So I need to help you get this set up on your computer. Meanwhile, what they're doing is downloading some kind of malware that's going to get all of the data that they want. So that's what they're looking for there. Be very careful. A distracted employee is a very good target on this one. And we talked about adding other programs like an employee assistance program or doing other things that keep your employees engaged, and so they're less distracted here. Have training, warn your employees about these scams, make sure they know, educate them specifically to these types of scams so that it's top of mind. Another great solution for these, both for the CEO scam and the IT scam, is appoint an in-house source. So if there are one of these types of scams and somebody's not sure, then they call a specific person and say, hey, I got this email. Is this real? Or somebody is asking me to transfer funds. Is this real? Have an in-house person who will be the source to answer these questions. And that can save a lot of the trouble right there. How we doing, guys?
So far, so good.
All right. So the next one is the supply scam. And this one, of course, popped up as a result of COVID-19 because people are having trouble getting certain kinds of materials or products or supplies that you may need for your regular business. In addition, you may need to order additional things as a result of COVID-19, like masks or PPE or something specific that you now need that you didn't need before. And so what we're seeing is just a complete front. So a fake business, fake websites, they make them look so real, so professional, and maybe they even look like, it's the fake Fendi bag. It looks just like the real website of a particular warehouse or business, but there's some slight changes where a letter's backwards or something is different. And so again, it goes back to pay attention and double check. So this one, you want to pay close attention to the URL and where the actual site is. Sometimes if you don't see that little S, when it's HTTPS, if it doesn't start with that S for secure, then that can be a red flag for you. That's not always the case. It's just one little thing to pay attention to. And there are some other things with the URL, like if it has foreign countries listed in it and it's not supposed to be a foreign country, or depending on what it is, you can pay close attention there. And the thing is, they want your credit card number. So the order takers are credit card takers. That's what they want. And maybe they're even saying that they've got supplies that nobody else has, but they've got them. So then you're going to give your whole order, all your company information, and finally your credit card number, which you have just given them everything they need to use your credit card or sell it to somebody. So be very careful about these kinds of things, especially if it's supplies that you're having trouble getting. So that's kind of the red flag there, is if it's, you know, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So finally, the data scam. And this one, I mean, when we've got a remote workforce where all of a sudden we've pushed a lot of our normal workforce that's in-house out to working remotely, this is prime hacker territory because it's a weak point. So you want to be very careful about, now that you've got some of your employees working from home, have a plan in place, train those employees, secure the home networks. Just because somebody is working from home and they have a laptop doesn't mean that your data is safe. It's a great highway straight in to all of your sensitive files and data. So you want to be very, very careful about that, because they're going to take the opportunity to infiltrate any kind of a data-rich network. And so be very careful about how you secure your remote workers. And same thing, training and information and a point person can go a long way here.
Just something I wanted to throw in there that you probably never thought of. When you plug your phone into your laptop to recharge, that's an open airway for a hacker. I used to do it all the time until I was informed. If you choose to use your laptop to recharge your phone, that is an easy access to your laptop.
That's right. Informed by our IT training videos in-house.
That's where I learned that. Training
yep.
off.
It really does. So final thoughts here, you know, again, the theme through almost all of our coffee breaks is training. Right now, more than ever, you've got to pay attention to some of these issues and make sure your employees are aware of it too. And you guys are going through all of the effort to educate and inform yourselves. You've got to take it to that next step and train your employees as well, and make sure they're aware of what your big picture is and what your game plan is and what's in your head. You need to pass it on, because that's your weak link. And so as soon as you reinforce those barriers, reinforce those walls, then your entire business stays secure and safe. And keep your guard up. Pay attention right now. And if you need to second guess something or slam on the brakes and do a little digging and research, do it. It's okay to do. And if it's a legitimate source or a legitimate question, they're going to be patient with you while you do that. So don't be afraid to keep that guard up and pay attention. And finally, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, especially if somebody is calling you with a whole bunch of loan money. That one's not going to be real. All right, guys, I hope this was informative and helpful. And if you have any questions, let us know. You can just type it in the chat box. And if you have any topics you'd like to hear, feel free to send us a message. We've got some good ones coming up. We might circle back on the political topic coming up soon. And we are going to do an update on the executive order that was passed last month as soon as we have some info on that. So stand by for more information. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, we appreciate your business, and we are here to help you. Thank you so much. I don't think there's any questions.
No, the only other thing I did want to add for anybody that's still on the phone was, if they're going to question you, don't be afraid to question them either. Ask them their employee ID number, ask them their supervisor's name, ask things that they're asking you questions. You have every right to turn around and ask questions for the validity of their honesty.